Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Hack Your Lives 2023 annual board meeting. Tonight, we're going to be reviewing 2023, as well as our 2024 planned activities, our financials, as well as the results of our board member and officer elections for 2023. So stay tuned, and we will get into it. Patrick?
Hello, everyone. About us, Hack Your Lives is a community-supported organization that strives to promote, support, and advance the idea that everyone should be free to hack their own lives in a safe, supportive environment. We're entirely volunteer-run, and we strive to keep doing things that let people be their true selves. And you'll hear a little bit more about who we are and what we strive to do and our plans for next year towards the end. And of course, we are a registered 501c3 nonprofit in the state of California.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us tonight. These are your board of directors for Hack Your Lives. I won't read everyone.
Fair enough. All right, we'll hop into the next slide then.
All right. Our 2023 officers were Steve Sekiguchi as president, Jason Swearberg as vice president, James Boker as secretary, and Patrick Gillespie as treasurer.
I think I'm covering this one. So just as a quick overview of the things we were involved in this year of 2023, we had, of course, the big event, DEF CON First 2023. You'll hear a little more detail about it shortly, but had over 600 guests and a bunch of stuff that went on. And then we had panels and meetups at Further Confusion, Las Vegas FurCon, their first year this year, Furry Week at Atlanta, Friday Silva, Biggest Little FurCon, and Midwest Fur Fest, which was not too long ago, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, this year's 2023 DEF CON First show was absolutely packed with content, probably the most variety we've had in a show so far. We had 3 parties with a total of 14 DJs. We hosted a mingle with QueerCon during, I believe it was Thursday night, which went really well. We had a lot of people both from QueerCon and DEF CON First attend. We had multiple meetups. A lot of these happened before we even did opening ceremonies of the con. We had Whiskey Pups, which has been a tradition going back years. We had our first trans and non-binary mingle. We had the DEF CON Pups meet and greet, and then the previously mentioned QueerCon and Furry mingle during one of our parties. We also had a workshop that happened before opening ceremonies that was very well attended. A Let's Build a Hardware Hacking Kit. Someone actually brought in a bunch of stuff to demo and that you may want to put into a hardware hacking kit, and it was a blast. We had a total of 8 panels, 5 of which were in our normal Safe for Work track, and 3 of which were in what we were calling our Wetware track. So in the Safe for Work track, we had Common Crusader, Keeping Face with Your Vendor, by Ginji and Ricardo Foss from Kraft Heinz. Security Automation, it's a sore subject, I believe was Craig's talk, Captain Crackle. Degrees of Debt, Going Broke for Certifications and Other Professional Credentials, from a returning speaker, Taka. Hacking Your Relationships, Navigating Alternative and Traditional Dynamics by Tanuski, Steve, and myself. And then Software Security for All from another returning speaker, Soatalk. And then in our Wetware or AD panels, we had Hackrame, Basic Bedroom Bondage, which was another returning presenter, Donut, who last year did our flogging demo and this year came and did some basic shibari and rope demos. Where There's No Willing Doctor, Bodily Autonomy in the Endocrine System by Agi. This was a great talk on DIY HRT and basically biohacking, one of our first biohacking talks of that vein. And then finally, Please Let Me OO, an intro to electronic access control systems by Siberius, first-time speaker, and a really cool talk to end our con. Steve.
Don't forget to unmute.
Unmute, Steve.
I need to turn the microphone on or it doesn't work. Sorry, gentlemen and ladies. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, good. People are nodding. Okay. Okay, here we go. So as a result of all of your great work, all of your generosity, participation in our auction, participation in purchasing our wonderful swag, we managed to generate $3,000 for Equity Florida Institute. Equity Florida Institute is the organization that actually runs and supports Equity Florida, which, as you may be familiar with, is one of the leading equality organizations working on LGBTQI+ work in the state of Florida. Tremendous organization. So we thank you all for your contributions, and thank you for Equity Florida for all the hard work. Patrick?
Yep, just had to hit the unmute button myself. So going over finances for this year, as you can see on this slide, this shows where we were at last year and where we are at this year at the end of the year. This is pretty much the final expenses for the year, as we're very close to New Year's and our fiscal year is the calendar year. We spent 90% of our money on programs and you know, things like DEF CON furs and stuff like that. Admin's at 4%. That's just the base cost to keep the organization running. None of the board members are paid at all. It's all just for taxes and the admin fees of filing and such. And fundraising, all of the stuff that we do to have like the donation store running and accepting digital payments and processing fees, that's where most of that is going. But grand majority of it is, of course, all the programs. And I believe this is the first time we've crossed 6 figures. If I'm not mistaken, I don't quite remember 2019. It was a different time back then. Bless you. And so you'll notice that I have it denoted here that the donations were 78.
Bless you.
Yes. Steve, I think you're on a massive delay. I think the donations here are at 78,000, and what that means is that's part of the 132,000, and basically we just wanted to denote that as part of what's not in that included in that, but is included in the gross revenue is what we did for the room block. I think it was about, if I remember correctly, about $54,000 was technically collected by us for the room block of everyone staying with us at the hotel during DEF CON first. But obviously the majority of it is all individual contributions. Thank each and every one of you who has supported us over the years and continues to support us. This all wouldn't be possible. We wouldn't be able to put on the event and you know, create these spaces for everyone without the individual contributions from everybody. Let's see. I'm gonna move on to the next slide then.
He's up next.
All right. Our 2024 officers are Steve Sekiguchi as president, Jason Swearberg as vice president, James Boker as secretary, and Patrick Gillespie as treasurer. You might notice some lack of changes there because everyone does their job pretty well.
Yeah, we're all signed up for it again.
Cool. So talk about DEF CON FIRS 2024. We have officially announced our theme as of BLFC. For anybody who has not seen or has not heard, our theme is Mad Max. Are we officially saying Furry Road or are we saying Fury Road? I'm going to go with Furry Road.
You know it's going to be Furry Road.
It's got to be Furry Road. So it is Mad Max Furry Road. As the world fell, each of us in our own way was broken. It was hard to know who was more crazy, me or everyone else. We're also planning a ton of meetups and panels at conventions. As of right now, what we're looking at is FC 2024. In fact, we've already been approved and scheduled there. LVFC 2024, we've already had our panel approved. FWA 2024, we've applied. They have not yet released panel approvals, but we expect to be. We're planning on doing meetups at B-Sides San Francisco, B-Sides Las Vegas, potentially B-Sides Seattle. It's not listed here, but I'm planning on attending, so may organize something. BLFC 2024 will be returning. And then Midwest Fur Fest 2024, we'll have a meetup and panel.
I think we left one off here. We'll probably also be participating in the next Virality in 2024.
That's right. The as of yet unnamed Virality.
Excited for this theme for DEF CON FIRS. It's a lot we could do with it, yeah.
So in 2020, by the way, I'm Tanuski for those of you who aren't listening. In 2024, we have some initiatives. The goal is to take DEF CON FIRS and move more content online. We have a couple people focusing on online presence using the Discord that you see here, and have more regularly occurring online events. Try to build a better online community that reaches worldwide. Right. In addition, focusing on DEF CON FIRS, we're going to be building some locals. Probably starting here with the Bay Area. It sounds like we're going to have one of the mountain states someplace. Somewhere in the mountains, like in the mountain states, and get us the in person. Give folks a chance to get together, say hello, meet each other face to face, right? And finally, the interesting move with DEF CON FIRS, this year we're going to go back to what we did in 2019, which is to build a DEF CON FIRS show committee. So in 2019, for those of you who were with us in 2019, DEF CON FIRS was really run by volunteers not in the board. And we're trying to return to a similar kind of structure for this year. So if you're interested in participating in DEF CON FIRS and helping us put the show on, please let one of us know. On the Hack Your Life side, we're looking at partnering with other organizations who share missions with ours. So that may mean that organizations are going to be joining Hack Your Lives in addition to DEF CON FIRS or programs, or other organizations will be reaching out and partnering with other organizations that have us very similar kind of intentions, ones who are about supporting people's spaces and opportunities for people to be themselves. And then, of course, we're going to try and work on our income a little bit. Right now, as you can tell from our income slide, most of our income comes from the DEF CON FIRS show. And we like to balance that out a little bit and help us sort of smooth the year out a bit when it comes to income, and also give us the opportunity to sort of sponsor more of these locals, more online activities, possibly events that are not necessarily in Las Vegas in the middle of summer when it's 120 degrees. But just trying to get us out there and give more opportunity to reach. So hopefully that'll be exciting. I'm very excited about some of the things that are going on, some of the changes we're making to support these new initiatives.
All right, so get involved. There's a few ways that you can help us out. Of course, donations are always helpful, but another thing that is probably just as important, if not more so, is having more hands helping us do what we do and providing the spaces that we have. Like all of the speakers we have that are able to sort of share their knowledge with the community, and everyone who comes together to help us run events and make sure that the space is set up and you know, that we are able to handle the crowds and everything, and you know, those who stay late after everything has ended to clean up and get it all packed up, and you know, the logistics, and even those that help plan what everything that we do before, you know, months out from the event, who may not be able to physically be there. I see you in the comments. Uh, um, it's very much helpful if you are interested in helping out in DEF CON furs or the Hack Your Lives in general. You can reach out to us at contact@hackyourlives.org, or you can message us on Twitter at DCFurs, or in our Telegram group there at the bottom of this slide, at DefConFurs. We even have a Discord. Any way you reach out, we'll get you in contact with the right person for whatever team you may be interested in joining and helping out on. Obviously our biggest event at the moment is DEF CON First, which happens in Vegas every August, but there's a lot of work around the year on that that can be done remotely, and I know that we have some other initiatives that we would love to get going in 2024. So I think that regardless of where you may live in the world, if you're online, there's probably a way that you could get involved and make an impact. For those of you that will want to help financially support us, very much thank you. Whatever amount you can donate to us via PayPal or card, Apple Pay, Google Pay on that bottom QR code there. These links are also available on our corporate website, hackyourlives.org. And then we are registered with Benevity. So if you work at a company that does corporate matching for nonprofit donations, we show up on there probably. Most companies use Benevity or something connected to it. So we probably show up in the list if you search for Hack Your Lives on the charity portal there, and usually they'll double or maybe 50% extra your donation, and it really helps. And I really appreciate it. And if you're interested in being a sponsor and working with us in some way to promote during like DEF CON Furs, or have some other ideas of how you would like to connect with us, please reach out and we'll have a conversation about it at contact@hackyourlives.org. Did I miss anything, Steve?
I think it looks good. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah.
With that, let's move on to Q&A.
Yeah, I see some things in the chat. Fuji over here saying he's interested in volunteering, Steve.
So, Fuji, you can reach out anytime. Come by. Come to the house. We can chat face to face, or not too far.
Our current volunteer. Is one of our current volunteer coordinators.
But we'd love to have you back.
Yes.
Okay. But Dren, I think you have some questions that came in through the form.
Yeah, well, before that, the other thing from chat is that it looks like the Discord link is currently invalid from the slide.
Oh, goody.
So we might want to throw out
Is it really?
updated Discord link.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I didn't try it.
I'll generate a new one.
Thank you.
I've never been to Florida regarding the other question, or anywhere near there. But someone mentioned Florida. I think it'd be the furthest that we've ever tried to do something if we did have anyone in Florida.
Yeah, we actually have a volunteer who's looking at doing something, I believe, in Paris.
That'd be further.
Yeah. I'm very excited. I want to see pictures.
We sent out a questionnaire and survey after the last DEF CON, and we did get some questions after that. One of them was, what was the inspiration to create this organization? And I think Patrick and Steve, you probably have the best insight into that.
Okay, I'll go for it. So Hack Your Lives was started originally, it really was built around a DEF CON FERS and the DEF CON idea. This idea that there was a space where people could hack all things. And a few of us got together. We were all furries. And it started out as a kind of place for us to meet up, have experiences that we could share. DEF CON, if you've ever been, is a enormous conference on the order of 30,000 people. And it's kind of overwhelming. And so it gave us a little space to kind of meet up and talk to people who were like us, right? And then what we realized was that the kind of ethos that's inside of DEF CON, the idea that you should be able to hack, was more than just hacking things. It was more than just hacking computers. It was more than just hacking, like maker kind of space. It was really kind of the ability to find a space for people to hack the way they live, who they want to be. We felt like that was what furry was in some way, right? You're hacking your life, right? You're creating a whole different you if you want to. And you should have that ability. And we believe that we wanted to build a space, build opportunities, build programs that support people who believed like we did that you should have that space. And that was, whether it's gender or it's furry or it's whatever that is, right? You should be able to find a space where you're safe and you can do that. Patrick?
Cool.
Okay.
I think that was a great answer. I'm gonna pivot from the questions to go over things in chat. Sid then asked if there's a high-level breakdown of what goes into programming. Um, I remember seeing some structured things. If someone wants to talk about what the structure is. I don't remember what it is.
Janaeus, you want
Janaeus?
to talk about programming?
Sure. What was the question? Sorry.
Yeah, is there like do you have a high-level breakdown of like what are the departments that go into programming?
Yeah, so that's something that may actually be changing as we start to form an organization. So right now, programming is really only handling the talks for DEF CON FERS as well as the workshops and meetups and things like that. Right now, DJs aren't being handled by programming. I expect that's going to change as we build a show organization. And as we start to build an online presence, some of the stuff that Steve was talking about that we're looking to do, that will probably fall under the larger programming organization as well. So right now, it's very tight in scope, but I expect that will broaden over the next year, and it's something we're definitely going to need help with. To give kind of a peek into how the sausage is made, in 2019 we had a full programming department that was handling a lot of this, and then when the Fire Nation attacked, we kind of went back to just me handling it. So now we're looking to rebuild that, kind of take over more of the programming, not just for the show, but for DEF CON FERS year round.
Cool. Awesome. Craig asks, is there any need for organizational help? Has anyone looked at Tides? I think he means tides.org, or they mean tides.org. They may or may not be a good fit. I have never looked at them before personally. I don't know if anyone else has any familiarity with them. I imagine this is in comparison or contrast to Benevity.
Yeah, we'll take a look. We'll add to the list. Thanks for the tip.
Awesome. So I'm going to go back to questions from the survey. What are the plans moving forward with Hack Your Life? I think we've kind of answered that with the scheduling slides and what we're planning to do in 2024. I don't know if anyone wants to share more information or more on that. But
I can share very briefly. I don't want to take too much time. But the goal here is to further advance the mission. So programs that aren't, like I said, specifically in Las Vegas in August in 120-degree heat, right? It's programs and opportunities for folks wherever they are to find a like community, a community of folks who think like them, who want to support them, who want to be together in hacking their lives and being who they are, the freedom to be who they want to be and build a world that is a better world for them. So there's a lot of programs around that. We're building a local, it's building more online community. It's creating more opportunities for people to meet up, even in Las Vegas, frankly, scholarship programs, those kinds of things as well. At local furry cons, it's continuing to do this kind of work.
one thing I want to add there, Steve, besides just the stuff that we're doing outside of Vegas and to try and build the org, there's also, you know, for the last couple of years, it's been the seven of us essentially running the show year round, and then we have some volunteers on site, and it makes it very hard for us to continue to scale the show. This year was our most well attended DEF CON Furs, besides maybe the one in Alexis Park where a lot of QueerCon people filtered in. But as an independent show, this was the most well attended. We had the most content, the most talks, and I think we've grown to a point where it's either we start bringing in more people, or the show itself will start to stagnate and not be able to grow any larger. Which is one of the reasons we're putting so much emphasis on growing this organization and starting to delegate out more of what it is that we're doing year round.
Cool. Thank you. What are some of the notable challenges you have faced creating and running Hack Your Lives? Before I turn that over, I'll say there's a lot of organization. Beyond that, I don't know if anyone wants to share some thoughts.
Patrick, want to talk about, or I can talk about fundraising.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll say fundraising has always been a challenge. The show's expensive to put on. DEF CON First, between the hotels and the badges and the booze. And believe me, I believe that we have the best booze deal in Las Vegas during DEF CON. Hack Your Lives badge, I think, is an outstanding value. You don't have to have a DEF CON badge to participate, which I think is something we want to keep holding on to. It gives us a kind of freedom, but that comes at an expense. And so being able to even out those expenses, I can tell you that during the pandemic, we actually got support from the government to hold us over, because there was very little that we could do otherwise, just to get us by. We do have some annual expenses, as you see here on the sheet. Our admin costs are really pretty low as it goes, but they're still there every year, and we'd like to smooth that out and make it a little better for us. The other one, of course, is Juneos, and people have mentioned on the call, is it's a lot of work to put together the show. It's a lot of work to put together the organization. We have IT people in this group. A lot of us are IT folks, and spend a lot of time just doing that. So there's complexity. Someone just winked at us for the IT person. One of our board members on the call here. There's a lot going on. And I think those are some of the challenges. So logistics, organization, a lot of it's blocking and tackling, just getting stuff done. I think the other one is getting the message out, which we're going to be trying to do more of this year. Patrick?
Yeah, for sure. The logistics of the show. I mean, we're literally driving in, the night before and unloading an entire U-Haul trailer into a hotel suite. You just see everyone in the casino, just see like all these carts fly by, and it would seem abnormal, but we're there with like all the other groups at DEF CON, so it's already crazy. But it's not possible to do on our own, and we've been grateful to see some of the volunteers we had in 2019, helping out, and some new faces helping out in the last 2 years, just to get stuff into the room, let alone be there during the event to manage the space and help everyone out. And we were starting to build like a convention team in 2019, and then when everything kind of shut down in 2020, that kind of scattered to the wind a little bit, but the responsibilities didn't. And as we continue to grow, it's one of our biggest, I think, challenges right now with DEF CON Furs, is if we're going to continue to grow and be able to handle more, a more organized talks and more organized coordination with the scheduling and the things that everyone wants to see improvement on. We really need people that can take on those responsibilities, because it's already hard enough for the seven of us to do it on top of the day jobs and on top of everything else, right? We're not, full time working on these events. We're just doing what we can with the time that we have, and the people that have volunteered and continue to volunteer, thank you so much. And over the last 2 years, that number's been going up, and I hope that it continues. For sure, we'll be definitely posting some some stuff and information on like what positions are available and stuff with the planning. You know, we've had, you know, I'm sure I think on our website for last year you can see kind of like the what you can do at the event to help, you know, move things, watch the room, clean up, whatever. But where we really need help is the planning side, because this, you know, from now until August, we have a lot of things to cover. What are we going to do? Where are we going to be? What hotel? You know, who's going to be there? Who's talking? It's a lot of little details that has to go into it.
Yeah, totally agree with all of that. Um, great. How do you the ever-changing landscape of technology within your organization? Caffeine? Uh, other answers?
I can talk about the outside perspective. I'm not doing the technology, and so I can tell you that it's a bunch of people doing a bunch of work at a bunch of different times, all trying to get coordinated. Whether it was the 30 minutes this evening, uh, right, getting us online, or whether it's, you know, our website that we have up and running, hackyourlives.org, check it out, or dcfirst.org, which dcfirst.com rather, which we have up and running, check it out. Or it's the, you know, the infrastructure we have in Azure, or wherever it is. We have tech all over the place.
We're in EverCloud. Even behind the scenes, we're between Teams and G Suite, and the back and forth of where should things live. It's, you know, whatever's accessible. But the you know, I think the tech side of things, it's mostly just been a, you know, what are we using, because we have maybe more than one option, and, you know, who's available to help get that going, because most of us, all of us, are pretty tech savvy people, just because of where we all met, you know, at a tech related conference. And I think the biggest challenge for the technology is the time to manage it, because you know, as we continue to grow, we have to adopt or update or migrate to different services, because, you know, we may rely on something probably made by one of the well-known companies that likes to sunset things that are really useful, but decided that they're no longer useful to them. So who cares who's using it, or whatever outside forces that we can't control, you know, may force us to stop using something. So even when we don't change what we're doing, things change around us, and it's a challenge just trying to keep up with moving stuff around. But I think that really helps, comes into where we could use some help with volunteer-wise, especially with like updating websites and stuff like that. I know that there's a couple of you out there interested in helping out, you know, maintain the websites and stuff like that. That's tremendously helpful. But yeah, other than that, we try to make use of tech as much as we can. Just had a little challenge with YouTube today, trying to go live on the page that I had scheduled, so I didn't want to make a new link, but that seemed to be the only option tonight. But yeah.
Yeah, I just double down on that. You know, all the volunteers that help out are so helpful, and, you know, thank you. It's what really makes this work at all. We have one last question, unless any of you have any on YouTube that you want to type in. But what are your plans for reaching people you think would be interested in what Hack Your Lives can provide? We've commented on that a bit about the locals and pieces, but Steve or Patrick or Janaeus, do you want to add to that?
So go ahead, Patrick. Let's just talk about your part of it.
Yeah, so there's different platforms and different groups that are all kind of under, you know, who can benefit, who are we targeting, right? That's always a core question, especially if you want to think about it in terms of outreach. You know, obviously all of us on the board are furry, so we definitely cater to that a lot. And so when it comes to a sort of DEF CON furs, you when we, those of us here that, including myself, that helped sort of start that from the beginning, the goal was always to find, more furs in the space of hacker culture and infosec and all of the different both techie hack and non electronic hacking of of things that go on at DEF CON, and create a space that was welcoming to the members of society that make up furries, which is lots of diversity in every category of diversity, and making sure that there was at least one. We're not the only inclusive space at DEF CON, but we're definitely one of the spaces that is dedicated to creating that environment, and making sure that there is a home, or at least an option to find your community. And we reach out to anyone that we see that is going to that convention, obviously, but we spread the word and kind of, at least about DEF CON furs, by being involved in all of these other conventions of where the same furries go to furry conventions. Having panels there explaining what is DEF CON, what is DEF CON furs, and having meetups so that everyone that may be regionally located to those different conventions could find each other and create their own communities. Because not everybody can just fly to Vegas in the middle of August and attend a convention that costs like $500 to go to, right? So creating that space and those opportunities, just specifically talking about DEF CON furs, there's other initiatives I think Steve can talk more about with sort of the locals and things like that we used to do.
So I think the answer to the question is it starts with us talking to you. It's explaining who we are, explaining what we do. You are the folks who make this organization. And so you're the ones who help us promote the organization. The more we share the message with you, the more we share the mission. I think the more you understand about how we do what we do and why we do what we do, I think the more you get invested potentially, and the more you invested you're going to be the best messengers for it. In addition to that, we're doing, as we mentioned earlier, looking for partnerships with other organizations that are of similar kind. Like Patrick was saying, there are a lot of organizations devoted to building spaces where people feel safe, for diversity. I can say that word, I promise. And so the plan is to partner with them as well and help spread the message through them. And then bring these communities together. And it's very much a grassroots effort, though. There's no plans for any kind of large overarching marketing campaign, at least not yet. There's no plans to buy ads on YouTube. There's nothing like that. It's really going to be because of grassroots. And like I said, it really relies on you as the starting point, us doing a better job and a more complete job of educating you on what we do and what we believe in and why we're here. And then having you help spread our message.
Yeah, definitely. We've grown most of the way that we are now with, from original, I don't know, 20 or so people meeting up for the first time to hundreds of people each day coming through our space, just because we're now a known entity from interacting as just members of this community. We're not like some company coming in. It's just like we're the same people that all go. We're part of the culture. We're part of the the word of mouth. Everyone's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be here. Come check this out. Or I'm giving a talk. I'm participating, right? And there's it is a very much for us, by us kind of thing.
Cool. There are no further questions in YouTube or from the survey.
Excellent. So wrap up a little bit here. Thank you all for participating. Thanks everyone for joining and listening in. Sorry for our little bobble getting started, but hopefully you were able to find it, get online, got to hear the message. We will be publishing this. We'll be putting the recording of this up online. In addition to the recordings from our show in August, we'll finish putting those up online as well. But thank you all very much. We look forward to 2024. It's going to be a very exciting year. We'll be bigger. We're going to be bigger, better, badder, and gosh knows what else. What's another you can add to that?
All of them.
I mean, you're quoting Daft Punk, though.
There you go. I am quoting Daft Punk. Sorry.
Stronger is the one you're missing.
That's right. Stronger. That's right. Thank you, Drano. Okay. Thanks everybody for joining. We hope you have a great evening. Hope you have a happy holidays, whichever holiday you support or believe in. And we look forward to seeing you at one of our cons, one of our events, and definitely at DEF CON Furs in August. Thanks everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Give me a second here.